Hi guys, just a brief kind of a sidebar here. I want to give you a little video help with installing the WSL, uh, the Windows sublayer for Linux. Or it allows us basically to run Linux as a shell inside of Windows, and that's what we're going to do. So let me help you get that installed. Okay, here we are at the desktop, and actually WSL is built into Windows already. We don't necessarily have to download and install it. What we have to do is enable it. And so the way that we're going to do that, the easy way is click the Start button in the corner and type in Windows Components. Oops, if I spell that right, C-O-M-P-O-N-E. Maybe add components, how about that? There we go. Turn Windows features on and off. I knew I'd find it if I typed around long enough. It's a Windows feature that we want to turn on. Okay, so turning on Windows features, we're going to scroll down to the bottom of the list. And Windows Subsystem for Linux. WSL, that's what we want to activate. So we're going to put a checkbox there and we're going to tell it OK. It's going to download, it's going to install, and it's going to save the changes. Hopefully. All right, so it requires a reboot now, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the feed here, and I'm going to start back up in another video, and we will, after the restart, we will continue on. Okay, guys, we have installed and rebooted our computer, and so now we need to go ahead and install the Linux system. We've got the subdirectory going. Now we need the Linux system. So we're going to go to the Microsoft Store. We're going to search for Ubuntu. And the way that we're going to do this, we're just going to type in Linux. And the package that we're going to do is 20.04.6. So we're going to go ahead and get that. And this may take a minute to download. So what I may have to do is, depending on how long this takes to install all the updates and whatnot, I may have to jump cut. So if you see me go, oh, we've done it, whoop, hey, didn't take nearly as long as I expected. All right, now when we open this, we're probably going to see an error. Maybe not. So it's currently installing the Ubuntu package, the Linux shell of Ubuntu. It will not be a graphic user interface. It won't be a GUI. It's just going to be a shell and a command line, which is okay because that's how Linux was intended to run. So, also, same deal here. It may cause me to need to cut this, but all right. So, just in time, it says, please create a default Unix user account, and doesn't need to match your Windows username. So I'm going to use my old standby. Hit enter. It's going to ask for a password. This is a root or an admin password. To do that. Now, just a little bit of advice on Linux. You'll notice while I was typing in the password, nothing was happening. No little stars, no little dots, nothing. That's the way Linux is. It's a security feature. So you feel like suddenly that your keyboard doesn't work anymore. That is Linux doing its thing. So don't panic when you try to type in a password. And that's anytime in Linux, in any distro. It does not show any acknowledgement of you typing in a password. So if you're in the command shell in Linux and you type in a password, you're not going to see any impact at all. It's just simply going to type it in. When you hit enter, it'll either be right or wrong. can be a little frustrating if you don't remember how many characters you typed in. So it's a good thing to check. All right, but what we have here is we have Linux installed. Like I said, it's just a command line version of Ubuntu. Welcome to its version 20.04.06 LTS. That's the light version. It tells us to use sudo when we want to do something. We're going to do a couple of things right now. First of all, we have a blinking command prompt down here. That's where we're going to start. And so we're going to go sudo, which is the way to use admin commands in a non-admin account. And we're going to do apt-get update. Let's see if that one works for us. And the password we have to type in because this is a administrative feature. Okay. And it is currently doing exactly that. What I'm doing is I'm updating all the software sources that we have, places where we can download software. All those different websites, all those different repositories, I'm going through my list and it's going out, checking those to make sure they're still functional. If it's not, it will get rid of them. If they are still functional, it'll keep them. If it finds new ones, it will add those to the list. Now that I've got that done, I'm going to go ahead and upgrade my Linux system. So we do the same thing, sudo apt-get upgrade. Let's see if that'll do it. And we do want to do that. Okay, and now we're going back to those same Linux repositories and downloading software. And so anything that we need to upgrade, we can do so from there. This may take a minute, but it is in fact doing what it's exactly supposed to do. And it may take it a minute. Like I say, if it gets to be too long, I'll skip past it, but this seems like it's going pretty fast. So apparently this version really needed quite the update because it's requiring a lot. So usually it will not require this much, but you need to do it one time at least to get it done. And then when you do it later, the updates won't be nearly so big, the upgrades won't be. So we're still working our way along. What it's doing, like I said, is downloading from all those different repositories on the internet. It's downloading all those things, and it's getting pieces of software that we need that are out of date, and it's installing those into our Linux system. So basically what this allows us to do is it allows us to run a Linux shell inside of Windows. Originally, Microsoft hated Linux. It just really despised it. It didn't want to have anything to do with Linux. But what it's realizing is that a lot of people, particularly business people, use Linux systems. And so they've decided that, hey, if we want to stay current in the market, if we want to stay competitive, we need to allow Linux to work in Windows because Apple, the Macintosh system, is based on Linux, so it already works natively with Linux. You use Linux commands in the Apple command prompt, and so all right, there we go. We know we're done because I've got my command prompt back. So now we have upgraded to the most current version that we have. So I'm going to check. Let's see. First of all, let's check if there's anything in our directory, and let's find out what directory we're in. The command to find out what directory you're in for Linux is pwd. Yeah, I'm in my home directory, so I'm going to see if there's anything in this directory, and there's not. ls is the command It's like dir in Windows. If you type in ls and there are files in that folder that you happen to be in, it will tell you what those files are. So, yeah. Okay, guys, so if you'll notice, we've got our subsystem installed, but we still have a couple things to do. To finish the assignment to get credit, you need to finish this last sentence. We're going to do an ifconfig for Windows Linux and then an IP config from regular Windows to turn in as an archive to get credit for the assignment. So in order to do that, we're going to run these two commands. Both of them are essentially the same thing. They both provide network information, as you should already be familiar with, and they're pretty simple to run. So what we're going to do is we're going to run them and export the contents of the files to an actual text file. So to do that, we're going to start in Windows. You've already done this before. We're going to open up a command prompt. We're just going to do the IP config, but we're going to dump that to a file. And I'm going to put this one in my Ruby folder because that's an easy thing to do. And I'm going to call it ipconfig.txt. You need to call yours the same thing so I can distinguish between which one came from Windows and which one went. I will be able to distinguish that just to tell you, but just to make it nice and tidy. So the Windows one you're going to call ipconfig, you're going to dump it to a text file. And now we're going to go check and make sure it's there. So let's open up Explorer and go to that Windows folder. C drive, Ruby. And sure enough, there is our file. It has all the information for our IP addresses, etc. And so I'm going to go ahead and show you how to turn that in. This is what you'll be seeing for the assignment. We're going to start the assignment, upload a file, choose a file, and we're going to go to Ruby folder and we're going to upload that one. And then we're going to go ahead and get the Linux. So let's close the command prompt. We're going to get the Linux. Now to open Linux, you just click Start, type in UB, and it will take you to the Ubuntu shortcut. And this time we're going to do ifconfig. But oddly enough, the command to dump this to a file is exactly the same. So we're going to use the greater than sign. And we're just going to give it a file name. We're going to call it ifconfig.txt. So it's going to create this text file in the same directory that we're already in. We hit enter. And the way that we know we're there is we use the Linux command ls, enter, and now we have a file in our directory. The way that we can see inside that file is we're going to use vim. ifconfig.txt. And that will show us what's in the file. And if you'll notice, it looks exactly like what we expect it to. There's our IP address, subnet mask. The ifconfig file gives a little more information, but it's basically the same kind of information. So what we're going to do now is we're going to close that back and we're going to open it back up to get back to our command prompt. That's the easy way. And we're going to open up Windows Explorer using the Linux shell. And the way that you do that, iexplorer.exe space period. And that should do it, and it should open up to the right directory. Oops. Except you have to spell it right. EXPLR. There we go. It's Explorer, not iExplorer. That'd be Internet Explorer. So it's just explorer.exe space period. Once you type that out, there is our file. If you open that, there is what we expected to see. And that is, in fact, the file that we're going to upload. So to do that, we go here. We're going to copy that address, And let's see if we can add another file. There. Paste it in. Enter, and there's our deal. Okay, so now we have both of them. We're going to submit. And yay, we have gotten our glitter or our confetti or whatever that is. All right, so we have submitted that. That is what's expected of you. So you need to go ahead and get those things done. Not going to be too helpful in class because, frankly, I just showed you exactly how to do it step by step. So if you do need help, though, go ahead and ask me. But ask somebody else first. Just kind of, this is a thing you need to kind of, by this time, you should be fairly comfortable doing these things on your own. So go ahead and get this done, get them turned in, and we'll call that a good day. I will see you guys Thursday night. In the meantime, have a good day.